Hello and welcome back to Medium Rare, everyone. My name is Rag Reynolds, and today we are talking about Anthony Padilla's new video where he interviewed many different YouTubers about the state of YouTube. About their beginnings on YouTube, yada yada. And specifically, we're talking about a specific portion of this video where Anthony spoke to Pewdiepie. And in this conversation with Pewdiepie, they were talking about the YouTube algorithm. And they were talking about how the YouTube algorithm rewards watch time and click-through rates. And following on from that, they were talking about how drama content ends up being rewarded on YouTube because it's the content that gets the most watch time. It's the content that gets the most click-through rates. So let's listen to what they were actually saying.
How do you feel about the way YouTube has become a breeding ground for controversies and scandals, especially in recent months?
A lot of it feels very unimportant, at least comparing it to how riled up people are. It kind of makes me sad how people are so invested in these YouTube dramas and all this shit. And I'm like, really?
Right.
This matters to you?
The drama gets the most views because it gets the highest click-through rate and the highest view duration, and then people see that those types of videos become popular.
Yeah, YouTubers feed into it the same way. Obviously, some stuff have been important. I'm not trying to underplay that.
Out of all the drama on YouTube, about 10% of it is important stuff that we should really all be paying attention to. And the other 90% is just stuff that's just getting views because the rest of it's getting views.
I don't care what someone's t-shirt were 10 years ago.
I completely agree with this sentiment. I agree that the majority of drama on this platform really is not important. Most of the things that people have to criticize, most of this stuff, I think is so unimportant, it really doesn't matter. As PewDiePie just said, I don't care what t-shirt someone wore 10 years ago. I think that's very much the case. I don't care what off-color jokes people said 10 years ago. I care more about actions, I care more about people's growth, I care more about what they're doing right now. If someone is still making the same remarks, still showing the same behaviours as they did 10 years ago, they're doing it now, then sure, maybe now it is time to look back 10 years ago and say, oh, there's been a pattern of this behaviour, this person has not changed. But I think when you look at someone now, someone who is now existing and they are unproblematic, they're perfectly fine, and then to go back into their past and say, hey, you were different back then, you were doing bad things here, and bringing that up as a way to try and expose someone or insult them or whatever else, I think that's wrong. And I don't think that matters. I think what matters is growth and change, and whether someone has changed or not.
I wish there was a way that YouTube could change the algorithm so that drama isn't rewarded as much.
I wonder, that might be a thing, because it seems like YouTube, that seems to hurt their advertisers.
Yeah, if this continues where like every single video on YouTube's trending is drama, I think they're gonna have to say something.
I think that's a very concerning thing to say. That is a very big YouTuber advocating essentially for censorship, advocating for YouTube to switch up the algorithm in order to punish drama content. I think that's very concerning. And PewDiePie seems to be in agreement with this. Yes, drama hurts YouTube advertisers. It can, but that's mainly due to advertiser decisions. Advertisers choose not to like drama. But I think it's a very concerning thing here that we have Anthony and PewDiePie there happily saying yes, it would be okay for YouTube to punish drama content. If you ask me, no content should be punished on the platform, other than maybe illegal content or whatever. I think all content should be treated equally. That's how it should be, if you ask me. I think all content should be treated equally in the algorithm. Other than, obviously, if you search for certain things, you should get the results for what you're searching for, yada yada. But as far as recommended things go, as far as all the rest of it, I think videos and genres need to be treated equally. But what I'm going to say is, I'm not sure if they currently are or are not treated equally. Currently, it's all about watch time. It's about click-through. And that's about viewer interaction. That has nothing to do with the YouTubers making that content. You see, it's viewers, it's us who watch this content. It's us who are drawn to the drama. The watch time on drama videos is high because we care so much about drama, because we're invested in it. The click-through rate is so high is because we click on it as soon as we see it. We care about it. That's why it's high. Because the viewers themselves want that content. That is why drama content ends up being rewarded. It's because that's what people want to see. If cooking videos were getting a very high watch time and were getting a high click-through rate, then I'm sure they would be much better in the algorithm. Same goes for gaming videos or tech reviews. Whatever it is, it's about watch time and it's about click-through rates. And that is how the algorithm then prioritizes certain things. YouTube, I don't believe, purposely pushes drama content. As they are saying, drama can often hurt their advertisers. So I think it's not true at all that they are pushing this content. It's just the way that the algorithm works at this current time. And I'm not sure that the algorithm is wrong. Is it tough sometimes to make other content that maybe isn't drama related or whatever? Maybe. Because people might not watch it as much. But it's about learning, it's about adapting, it's about making content that is more engaging. Is one view on a video really equivalent to one whole view if the person only watches the first minute of your 10-minute video? If you ask me, that's basically a tenth of a view. How many million view videos are there out there that are, say, 5 minutes long, but the vast majority of the viewers cut off in the first half of the video? Are those views really 5-minute views? Are they really equivalent to one view? It becomes a bit hard to distinguish here. Because if you want to talk a bit more technically about it, say there's a million view video, the video's 5 minutes long. If a vast majority of those viewers only watch the first half of the video, is it really a million views? It sounds to me that's more like 500,000 views. It's only half the amount. Sure, you had 1 million people click on it, but not 1 million people watched your video in its entirety. And that's where watch time comes in. That's why watch time is important. Because it helps us see what people are engaging with, where they switch off the video, where their interest dissipates. And that's why drama content ends up being rewarded, because it's very engaging. People want to be aware of what's going on. They want to know what's happening next.
Really don't think it's that YouTube promotes that or rewards that.
It's the viewer as well.
It's, yeah, YouTube, if we didn't care about that, YouTube wouldn't care.
It's not necessarily...
That's exactly the point I was just making. That's the perfect point. If viewers didn't care, YouTube wouldn't care. YouTubers wouldn't care. It's all about viewer habits. It's about what viewers want to watch. Viewers want to watch drama. That is what they find engaging. That's why it ends up being rewarded. I completely agree with the first points they were making about how the vast majority of drama is irrelevant. It doesn't matter. And there are people on Twitter, if we have a look at Twitter, I'm going to scroll down now. There are people on Twitter who are saying, oh, these are, let's see. We're just going to ignore the controversies and problem behavior PewDiePie is engaged in, whatever. This could be summed up as two white men who are afraid of their pasts. Note the people who agree with them, look at their pics and come to your own conclusions. I think that's silly. I think that's a completely silly argument. I don't think it has anything to do with these people being afraid of their pasts. I completely agree that what someone said or did 10 years ago, as I already said, is irrelevant in the current day, so long as the person has changed and they're not the same as they are. PewDiePie has past controversies. He is not the same person as he was then. He has apologized for the controversies. He has visibly changed his behaviors. He is no longer acting in the same way. So I think it is inappropriate to go back and say, hey, look how terrible he is, when you're using something that no longer represents who he is as a person today. And I would say the same for most controversies. I mean, there's some things that are far more serious that are a bit harder to forgive. It's like, if someone's a murderer, you don't say, oh, well, the person hasn't murdered someone in the last 10 years, so I'll forgive them now. It's not always that easy. That's a different severity of something. But when you're talking about simple little words off-color jokes, stuff like that. I don't think that is quite the same. And I think it's important to look at the growth someone has gone through. I think it's important to look at who they are now. And I completely agree with their point that, say, only 10% of the drama on YouTube is actually important. It actually matters. I completely agree with that. Maybe you don't. Let me know in those comments down below. Do you agree with that or not? I completely agree with that point. But I think it is entirely wrong to suggest that we somehow push that content down. We suppress it in the algorithm. It doesn't matter whether or not the content is important. It doesn't matter whether or not the drama is relevant or whether it matters or not. We should not suppress it just because some people, I hold this opinion, I am on the side of these people who hold this opinion. Some people think this doesn't matter, so we should suppress it. No, I think it doesn't matter, but I do not think we should suppress it, okay? I think videos should be treated equally. I don't think just because it's drama and because some people think it doesn't matter and it's unimportant and it's harmful, I don't think that means it should be suppressed. I think the videos should be based on something such as watch time, such as viewer engagement. That is how the algorithm should operate. I don't really have an issue with how the algorithm operates in that sense. Can it be tough? Yes. Do I wish it were a little easier? 100%. But I don't want certain content suppressed just because it's easier or that it does better than other stuff. I think that's wrong. Anyway, that's where I'm going to leave this video. Let me know what you're thinking in those comments down below. As always, that's always what I want to know. I always want to have a conversation here. I want to have a discussion. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Let me know in those comments down below. I always like to see what you guys have to say. And until next time, folks, my name is Rag Reynolds, and this was Medium Rare.